problems, all that we got to face in this life. But in the midst of all of that,
all right.
In spite of all of that, regardless of all of that, there is a God that sits high and looks low. See, I don't know about you. Old body ain't acting right this morning, but you know what? I'm going to give him praise anyway. Hallelujah. Because you know, I understand the power of prayer.
All right.
Oh, glory be to God.
Hallelujah.
Glory be to God.
Yes, Lord.
I'm just thankful this morning to know the Lord.
Yes.
I thank him for allowing me to open my eyes this morning and just to witness another day. Bishop, I'm so grateful that I sat on the deck this morning and I saw that little redhead, not a woman now. Somebody said, oh, you got a redheaded woman. A little redheaded woodpecker got to beating on the side of my house and he caught my attention. Then he flew over on the fence and he rattled over there a little bit. Then he flew out across over the next yard. He rattled over there a little bit. Then he flew on over somewhere on the other street and rattled. But you know what? Let me tell you something. Did nobody create that woodpecker but God himself? Glory be to God. Have you ever just stopped and thought about all of God's creation? Praise be to God. And no, I'm not preaching this morning. Somebody probably said, man, he needs to sit down the way he sounds. I got a preacher that's coming. Amen. And she's going to bring the word. Amen. Hallelujah. I'm just the forerunner. I'm just coming to let you know she's coming. Praise be to God. But I want us to be in prayer for Mr. Johnson. We don't need to take her to Mayberry now. I was sitting there, I'm kind of feeling something here this morning. We're dragging a little bit. Let me tell you something. If you're able to witness this day, people, you ought to be praising God right now. This place should be quiet. I heard scholars say over the years that you're living in the quietest world you're ever going to live in. Because if you make it there, they're going to be shouting and praising God.
Yes.
And Lord, behold, if you go to the other place, they're going to be screaming, gnashing of teeth. So you don't want to be there either. So let's not get quiet now. We don't want the other fellow to know that we're down this morning. We give God praise anyway. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. If you will come on, sister.
Amen.
And look, you pastor for the day. So I want you to come, sister, and share with us what God has given you. Blow the top off the place if you can. God bless you, minister. God bless you, people of God.
I'm glad to be here this morning. I'm glad to see each and every one here. All the members, overseer, and my pastor.
God bless you, sister.
I am just his helper this morning.
God bless you.
God pastor. Let us pray for a minute. Precious Father, Lord, I come before you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Thanking you, Lord, for another day. Thanking you, Lord, for being here. Lord, I'm asking you, Lord, to use me in the way that you want to use me.
Yes, Lord.
Lord, let me only say what you want me to say. Don't take away or don't add. Just say what you want me to say. Help me, Lord, to be a blessing to your people. Let them listen to the word, not to look at me, but to listen to your word. And I hope it be a blessing to them, Lord. Oh God, bless the words, Lord. Use me, Lord, as you see fit. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. God bless you, minister.
I'll be reading Genesis 32, 24 through 26. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint. And as he wrestled with him, and he said, "Let me go," for the day breaketh, and he said, I will not let thee go, except you bless me. Now y'all know the story about Jacob and Esau. I'm not going to go through all of it, but y'all know that how Jacob had, did all these things and stole his birthright and all of this, and how his mother was a part of it and all this, and he was wanting to make amends for what he did, and he was wanting to, be with Esau and want to make everything all right. Now, my subject is scars. So, let me tell you a little bit before I begin. Right here, I don't know if y'all have ever paid attention to my forehead. Right there's a scar right there. When I was like 5 years old, and my cousin was taking me home, me and my sister. My sister is 4 years older. So she could walk as fast as my cousin could. And I kept telling her to slow down because I can't walk that fast. And she kept on walking fast. I don't know why she kept on, because she was taking me home. And I kept stumbling and stumbling. And she was holding my hand. If she would turn loose my hand, I could walk a little better because she was walking fast. And my little legs couldn't go that fast. So I told her again, please slow down a little bit, because it was hard for me to go across the track. It was about 5 or 6 different tracks we had to cross. And she kept walking on the tracks, and I kept stumbling. And finally, I fell. And when I fell, then she got nervous and slowed down, and blood was coming everywhere. And knowing little 5-year-old me, I was just screaming. I just knew I was dying. And I said, and I think she thought so too. So she was holding the rag to my face, and it was so much blood that it just soaked the rag. And then when we got home, it was so much blood, and I just knew I was dying. And then after that, when she got to mom, and my mom, she was one that didn't play. And she said all kind of things. I don't remember all she said, but she kept saying the reason why I fell. And I said, Mama, she was walking too fast, that's why I fell. And so, when I looked at that and I thought of that, I said, it's amazing how God spared my life, because she did not take me to the doctor. So it was the Lord. Back then, we didn't go to the doctor. My mom, she would do something and I would get better. It was the Lord. So that's why I wanted to bring that up and let you know about scars. In case you don't understand, that's my scar right there. And it's a mark that's left on the skin or within the body tissue. After the healing of a wound or burn, it's a lasting effect. It's sometimes it's after an unpleasant experience, and that was an unpleasant experience for me. And that mark would be there. It came there when I was 5 years old, and it's still there. So that's what a mark would do. I want to say a little bit about the marks. We could have spiritual marks too. And when Jacob was trying to make up for his brother, and sometimes the Lord will prick your heart, when you're under conviction. Like when I was under conviction, things would bother me. And I didn't know at the time, somebody told me I was under conviction. But Jacob knew he did wrong. He knew all the things he did, and he was trying to make up. And he sent different cattle and stuff to ask, to send his brother to make amends. And he knew he left a scar on his brother because he took his birthright. So all of this, he was scared. And then when he did it, then he didn't reply. And he was so nervous, so he went to the Lord. A lot of times when you have to have scars, when you want to do right, then you try to make amends, which is good to do, because you have left that scar. So he wanted to make up to his brother for the things he did. So that's what it is. That's what scars can do to you. It can destroy you if you let it. If you don't do something about it, it will destroy you. So that's what the scar will do. So that's what Jacob was trying to do. He was trying to, make amends. So that's why he was wrestling with the devil. So, with the angel, excuse me, that's why he was wrestling with the angel. Because of the scar, because of what he left the scar on his brother.
Right.
And then, he knew that he had to prevail. He knew he could not live like this forever. He knew he had to reach God so the Lord can touch Esau's heart.
Right.
So he can forgive him. So he had to pray. Sometimes when we pray, we just say a little prayer.
Right.
But when you mean business, you got to pray. I don't mean just pray, you got to pray. Because you mean business. You want to get healed. You want the other person to be reached also. So he prayed. And so he wrestled with the angel. And he said he wasn't going to let him go until he blessed him. And see, and touched the hollow of his thigh. Some of you may not know, but because he was touched at the hollow of his thigh, he had a limp. And I call that a scar too. Because the rest of his life, he had a limp. So in this Christian life, we're going to have scars. But scars, what you do about it? How are you going to handle these scars? Sometimes scars will cause you to lose your soul if you're not careful. Sometimes these scars can put hate in your heart if you're not careful. Sometimes when somebody hurts you, you have scars and you won't forgive them. But I want you to know if you don't forgive them, you won't make it to heaven.
Right.
You're going to go to hell with these scars. And you don't have to have these scars. I'd rather walk around with a limp and go to heaven than have scars that they take me into hell with it. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. I'll be reading 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 10. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given me a thorn in the flesh. The messenger of Satan that buffeted me. Lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, 3 times, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee. My strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me.
Amen.
Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities and reproach, and necessities, and persecution and distress, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
Yes.
Now, when I think about this, I think about my diagnosis, and I think about how Paul was asking the Lord to take the infirmities away from him. And that brought me back to me. You see, I've had this diagnosis for a while, and it has been getting worse.
It's okay.
And I have been asking the Lord to heal me. But the healing hasn't come yet. The symptoms are still there. But I thought about Paul, and what did he do? So when I kept getting worse, I began to pray and say, Lord, why won't you heal me? I said, am I not doing something that I should do, or am I doing something wrong that I shouldn't do? And I kept asking him. It seemed like the more he didn't answer me at first, the more it seemed like I kept wallowing in it, and I got sicker and sicker. And it was because of the scar. And then one day I was laying down, and the Lord said, get up. I said, Lord, I don't feel good. I don't want to get up. And I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me at first. And he said to get up. And I was just walling. I didn't seem like I couldn't even get out of bed till about 12 o'clock. I was letting my scar take over my life.
Come on.
And he told me, he said, I woke you up this morning. I'm giving you brand new mercies today.
Come on.
What are you going to do about it?
That's right.
He said, get up. And he said, no matter what you're going through,
Jesus.
I want you to live this day as if it's your best day ever.
That's right.
That's it.
If I wake you up, I want you to realize this is your best day ever. You can't lay in your bed like this.
Come on.
You will end up dying.
Yeah.
And it's not your time right at this moment. So I woke you up. I gave you brand new mercy. What you gonna do about it? And at first I didn't do anything. I still wanted to walk. I kept getting sicker and sicker. And he kept saying to get up.
Come on.
So I got up.
Yeah.
And when I got up, I took a shower and I got dressed. And I told my pastor some of this. And I said, I can't just sit here. Whether he healed me or not, I got to do what he told me to do.
Come on.
And he told me to live this day. And this is my best day ever. Because he woke me up and he gave me brand new mercies. So I knew what Paul said. I understand what he was doing. And see, it didn't stop Paul.
Yeah.
And he had this thorn in the flesh, you know, for all his life. But it didn't stop him.
That's right.
He was a great servant of God. And see, sometimes we let scars overtake us. We let the scars overtake our lives. No matter what kind of scar it is, we let it overtake us and we cannot do this. We got to get up. Because he said that my grace is sufficient.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes we don't trust God. Just because he don't heal us, we get mad and we lay around and we don't want to do anything. And we got to get up. And he said, when you don't feel like coming to church, you come to church. When you have the diagnosis and when the symptoms come, you may not feel good. He said, but come to church anyway.
Yes.
No matter what goes on in your life, this is your scar.
That's right.
What you going to do about it?
Come on. Yeah.
So what I decided to do was to get up and come to church.
Amen.
And before, what I would do, when I would feel bad, I wouldn't go. But let me tell you this. The diagnosis is still there.
Come on.
The symptoms are
Come
still
on.
there.
It's all right.
It hasn't changed, but God has changed me.
Yeah.
I can tell other people.
Yes.
No matter what comes goes, no matter what the scars is, hallelujah.
Yes.
That I can still serve the Lord. And this is my best day ever. This is my best day. Even with the scars, it's my best day.
Yes.
Even with your scars, it's your best day.
That's right.
No matter what you're going to do, even if you hurt, it's your best day. I have been hurt, but it's your best day. You got to live it. God's going to tell you, you got to give account. He's going to say, I gave you a brand new mercy on this day. What did you do about it? And let me tell you, since that time, when I'm not working, I just work part-time now. Since I wasn't working, I can't even lay in bed. I tried to lay in the bed, and I can't lay down. So I have to get up. See, that's what God will do. He may not change the circumstances or whatever your diagnosis is,
That's all right.
whatever your scar is, but he can change you. I know that's what he did to me. He changed me. Even with the scar, he changed me. I mean, I always have this problem, but his grace is sufficient.
Yes, it is.
He said his grace is sufficient. You know, because he's the same yesterday and today and forevermore. And he said, my strength is made perfect in weakness. And he has strengthened me.
Amen.
If I had not listened to him, I would be laying down now. Calling the pastor, say, I can't come because I feel too bad. See, my sickness was overtaking me.
Come on, come on.
It was overtaking me. And I'm a servant of God.
Yeah.
You know, nobody knew what the thorn in the flesh was. But they said it was painful. It had to be for Paul to want it to be removed. But he had to accept the fact that he wasn't going to remove it. Like I said, my condition has not changed. The symptoms are still the same. But when I get up and I get dressed, I feel good.
Amen.
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 Difficulties will come. Scars will come in this life. You may think of scars that you have in your body. And you know, sometimes we have to accept our condition. Yes, we want to be healed. Yes, I do. God can heal. If He wants to heal me, He can. But I cannot live in hostage because of my condition.
That's right.
I got to go. And like I said, the condition is still there, the symptom is still there. But when I just obey the Lord, excuse me, do what He said, then something begin to change. You know, my mindset changed. So it made my body feel good when I get up. Because you know, there were times when I tried, thank you, when I would lay around and I would get up late and I would feel bad all day. But when I got up and obeyed the Lord, I feel like there's nothing wrong with me. Because I obeyed Him. You know, God is so good. You don't realize how good He is. No matter what you're going through, no matter what condition you're in, live each day as if it's your best day ever.
Amen.
I think about the soldiers, you know, when they go to war and when they come back, sometimes they have no arms, sometimes they have no legs. Sometimes they have post-traumatic syndrome. You know, their mind, because of the things they saw, has messed them up. It's because they were in a war. And see, we are in a war. And see, the devil, he's trying to mess with our mind. He wants us to have post-traumatic syndrome because of the things we go through. But we cannot let this happen. We got to live our best day today because tomorrow is not promised. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know too, I got to live this day because tomorrow is not promised. I cannot think about tomorrow. I got to think of the day, the mercies He gave me.
Yes.
And it's like those soldiers. They come home, it seems like I just feel so bad for them, you know, because they have went through all of this. And some of them say that, well, you know, I'll do it again. And that's what I feel like with serving God. We can go through things, but I'll do it again. Because heaven is my home. No matter what I go through, heaven is my home. And I may not be healed down here.
That's all right.
But I know I won't go to heaven with all of this.
That's right.
Only He will heal me. One way or another, I will be healed. I know I will be healed. And I was sitting in my mansion and I said, Lord, heaven, all this stuff I went through, heaven is worth it all. No matter what I go through, it's worth it all. Even when I'm talked about, heaven is worth it all. Even when people don't like me, heaven is worth it all. Even when I feel like I'm alone, heaven is worth it all. These scars. Are you going to let it get you? Are you going to trust God?
Trust God.
If He don't heal you, what you going to do about it? Today He has given you brand new mercies. Think about those soldiers. They saw so many things. And they said, I'll do it again. Because they had a goal. Their goal is to protect their country. And your goal is to get to heaven. Don't let the devil mess with your mind. Think about your life.
Amen.
Because you go through so many things in this life. And just think, you go through all this down here, and then you miss heaven. So you are miserable no matter what, you're miserable. Because you're missing out. And let me tell you another thing. Jesus had scars.
Oh, yes, he did.
I want you to think about that. He had scars.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
I've been reading John 20th chapter. I'll be reading like 19 and 20 and 24 and 27. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where the disciples assembled for the fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst and said unto them, Peace be unto you. See, sometimes we have to give a scripture. Sometimes we don't believe Jesus has scars. We hear people say things, but we don't believe it. In the 20th verse said, and when he had so said, he showed unto them the hand of his hand and his side. Then were the disciples glad when they saw the Lord. Even though he had told them what I was going to happen, they still didn't believe it. And go into the 24th. Now, Thomas was not with them. And when they told him that Jesus was here, you know, like I said, they forgot what all Jesus told them. So he didn't believe it. He said, I won't believe it unless I see the nails. If I touch the side, see, and put my finger in there to see. You know, that's what it is. You see, Thomas had a scar. His scar was disbelief. He didn't believe it. He said, I won't believe it unless I see it. And these days and time, we don't believe unless we see him. Sometimes we don't believe hell is real. But it's real.
It's real.
So when Jesus came again, he was with his disciples. And then Thomas with him. I said, like Jesus, you know, he knows everything. He told me, he said, go ahead, put your hand there. Put your hand in my side. You know, I'm real. So he had scars. And another thing I want to tell you, because if Jesus has scars, we're going to have scars.
Amen.
One thing we're going to escape.
That's right.
Because we go through this, and we think we don't have to go through this. And let me tell y'all, young people, as time goes on, and remember, the things you do today, it will affect you later. See, when I was growing up, I had no one, my mom, she was with me, but she didn't tell me about choices. She didn't tell me about the mistakes that I made. I would have to live with it. She didn't tell me that. I didn't understand that I have a choice. I can do wrong or do right. She didn't tell me about the choices, so I had to learn the things on my own. I had to learn things by making mistakes. Some people don't realize when you have people to help you and to tell you what is right and what is wrong, sometimes we don't want to listen. And then as we go on, we got scars. And it's because we don't listen. Sometimes we need to listen. And like I said, we need to listen to when people tell us stuff. I said one time, I said, oh, I wish I knew I had a choice. You know, I had to perpetually raise myself. But I thank God for the scars. I thank God that He taught me. My mom didn't taught me, but Jesus taught me. All along the way, I didn't realize it. I remember I used to go behind the house because of all the things I had to suffer as a young girl. And then when I would go back there behind the house, catching my crabs, Pastor, I would go back there, and that was my time to be with the Lord. And I would learn the Lord's Prayer. I had nobody to teach me, but Jesus was right there.
Hallelujah.
And I would just go back there. When things go wrong, I'd go back behind the house. We had a little pond back there. I'd go back there, and I caught myself trying to sing. So I got to sing down no tune. But I would sing. It seemed like I'd get my peace. And I would go back to the house, and all kind of things happened. But then I'd go back behind the house, catch my crabs and stuff, and I would sing. I would talk to the Lord. I didn't know Him, but I would talk to Him because of the scars. And I didn't know that God was preparing me for right now. And I would say, oh Lord, I'm so alone, I'm so alone. But the Lord let me know that He was with me all the time. with me. And I remember those days so much. And when I see the water, this is the peace, this flow over me. And even though I had to go back to the same thing, even though I would get whipped, I would be tied to the foot of the bed and whipped till I believed that the scars would make me today. And I thank God for it. And I kept saying, Mama, what did I do wrong? And she still wouldn't tell me what I did wrong. And I want you to know the scars is what made me one thing. All through that, He was always with me. He was with me. And He was with me then, and I know He will be with me now. And what you go through in life, please listen to the words of people that tell you stuff, because you're going to carry those scars with you the rest of your life. And what you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? Like some people say, you can do this and you can do that. I said, but it's going to be more scars. And I don't want no more scars than I have to have. And I think about all those days. And I said, you are preparing me for a time such as this. That's why I go through stuff. Whenever my mom told me I would never amount to anything, I'd never be anybody. And I would just raise up my heart up to the Lord. So I'll show you who I was going to be. And I showed her who I was going to be. You know, sometimes you have to just go on with the scars. You have to go ahead and do what you're going to do. Don't let nobody stop you. I often wonder, how did I do all this? How did I do this? How did I stand it? And then when my mom told me that I would never amount to anything, it just cut so deep. And I said, oh my God, what makes her hate me? I don't think she hates me, but a little girl, that's how I felt. And when she tied me to the foot of the bed, and she would use that belt buckle, and she would beat me, even in my head, even on my back and my legs, and I felt the blood running down. And I said, I got scars from that too. And then I still love her no matter what. And let me tell you another thing. I remember when I was reading the Bible and it said, honor your mother and your father. And I didn't have a father. You know, I had the Father in heaven. I didn't know Him then. And I remember no matter what Mama did to me, no matter what she did, the more I loved her. And I guess she wondered why I love her in spite of what she did to me. Yes, and then I know when she got sick, I was there. And then I had to go home because I lived like in the city of Charleston, and she lived in the county. And then she would, I would go see her. And then I left and had to go back because my daughter was little. And then we took her to the hospital. And you know what my neighbor told me? That Mama said, that's all she did to me. She said, out of all her 3 girls, I was the only one she can depend on. So that was nothing but God that allowed me to do that. Yeah. And you know, and see, back then, all the people, when they finished school, they go to New York. And me and my best friend, Baby, I said, well, I can't go, I got to stay with Mama. And I'm glad I did because I lost her. She died at 43 years old. All of a sudden, 2 weeks she was gone. And we had 3 good years together. Out of all my years and her years, I had 3 years with her. And I told the Lord, I thank God for those years. And I found a letter that she wrote to her mom. Say, well, you know, call me May. Well, May is leaving us this year because when we get to high school, we all go to New York. And then I found this letter. But I don't know what caused her to do that. But I think that's what made me stronger today. That's what made, and God was right in the midst of it. That's what I said. Sometimes we are not thankful for what we have. But you know, I love my mom. And I love her today, but she's been gone a long time. I love her. And I thank her for the scars. And because it made me strong. Because each time she tells me stuff, and when she says she wished she never had me, I remember saying, but I'm here now. I'm here now. I don't care what you say. I didn't say it in front of her. She can be a backhand in a minute. I said, hear that. You can't do that. And every time I hear me, she said, I would amount to anything. Something just rose up in me. It wasn't up with God. I said, you'll see. I will be somebody. And so many things I can tell you about my childhood. But I just want, it take me all day, and I don't want to do that. But I think the more she did to me, the more I loved her. And that's why I think about Jesus. The more we do, the more he loves us. The more we do wrong, he still loves us. And he gives us a chance. And you know, that's why I say when you are young, you think about things, because what you do today when you're young, when you get older, those scars will be there, and those scars will live with you the rest of your life, and you're not going to have the strength to stand, and all the people that you should have listened to, you will say, God, I wish I had listened to it. And even though what I'm going through now, even though my mom is gone, but the Lord is with me. That's part of what I'm going through now. God is with me. And it's just amazing how you can serve, how you can wallow in what you're going through, and then all of a sudden when you wake up and know that your diagnosis is killing you faster than the Lord wants to let you go, then you realize that I got to get up and live. I got to live this so you got to live. You got to live. You cannot die until your time comes. You got to live this day, no matter the scars, no matter what goes on in your life. You got to live this life. He did not promise you this is going to be an easy life. It's not going to be an easy life. I don't know what all you go through, what all you went through in your life. But I told you some of the things I went through. But I'm still here. And when I got saved, people told me I wouldn't make it. And I went through a lot because I just became a new convert. And people was just doing me so bad, and I didn't understand it because I never was, raised up and knowing about salvation. I thought when you saved, you were perfect. And I said, no, these people are perfect. What is going on? Yeah. But you see, it's the scars that will make you what you are if you trust God. If you trust God, the scars, it don't matter. Right. Because you're going to go, and sometimes you may go to heaven, you may die with a limp, you may die with a scar, you may die, you don't have much, you may die because you've been hungry, you may die because you've been alone, because the scar is there, you may die because you were hurt, and the scar is still there, and I know that you may still go through a lot of stuff. You may be talked about, the scars is there, but you got to give them to the Lord. You got to give them to the Lord. You can't let it hurt you. You got to be strong. You got to be strong. And I know this song, ever since I heard it, I thought about me. They said I wasn't going to make it. They said I wasn't going to be here. But I'm still here. Even though they talked about me, even though they falsely accused me, I say I'm still here. I'm still here. But one thing I had to do, I had to forgive those people. And I thank God for that book. I didn't finish the School of David. But I knew the stuff that I learned. And because of the book, The Bait of Satan, I learned to forgive. All these years, I thought I had forgiven the people who put out this stuff about me. I hadn't forgiven. But when I read that book, I learned to forgive.
Amen.
And I had to forgive. And see, that's what it is. I tell you, this is not an easy journey. But you can make it if you want to. This is not an easy journey. I have been without food. I'll tell you a lot of stuff. I won't go into that. I've been through a lot of stuff. But the scars is what made me where I am today. The scars is what will make you if you allow it. You cannot rely on your own self. You must rely on God. He will help you. You got to live this day. This is your best day ever. No matter the scars, no matter the problem, you can make it. This is your best day ever. And you woke up this morning The Lord has given me brand new mercies. And He has given me brand new mercy. Remember the scars, but remember that Jesus, He can take you through. He can take you through. If He did it, if he had the scars, you're going to have scars. So remember, scars. We all going to have scars, but you can make it. We all going to have scars. You're going to go through things. And I'm sure you can tell me some of the things that you have gone through. But you know how you make it? The blood of Jesus. And Jesus has given you strength to make it. No matter what you're going through. You will be hurt. But God is able. He said His grace is sufficient. Stand on His word. Stand on His promises. No matter what you're going through, stand on it. Stand on it. Hallelujah. Stand on His word. Trust Him. He will never lead you astray. Trust Him. There will be scars. Trust the Lord with all